So, hello everyone, and welcome to this glorious day where I'm having to do story time. So, as you're probably wondering why it might be just me and why this is significantly shorter than usual, unfortunately, I discovered that episodes 7 and 9 had either been corrupted, lost, or didn't download successfully. I believe with episode 7 that it got corrupted in some way, and as a result, or it didn't download successfully, either or, and as a result I didn't notice it until 2 weeks later, because I believe there was a gap between session 7 and session 8, or there was a significant gap between that and 9, and as a result, because there's 2 weeks of time when you can download episodes, I ended up losing episode 7. Episode 9, I think, happened in the same time frame as that, but I think that one was because I accidentally misnumbered everything. So episode 8 was fine, I put that one down. Then episode 9 either didn't download successfully, or something similar, but then I ended up labeling the next episode as episode 9, which meant I didn't end up going back and downloading the correct one. And this continued to happen until the most recent one, where I realized, hold on, my memory system is wrong, episode 9 is missing. So, yeah, episode 7 and 9 are both gone. And for that reason, I am doing short narrations of the what took place during that episode in order to fill in the gap. Now, there are the short reviews at the beginning of the session, just to remind you of what happened in the previous one, so you can get most of the information from that. But I'm going to get into a little bit more detail here, because some of the bits and pieces that were in episode 7 and 9 had a fair bit of teaching to them, to the party, and they had quite a little of impact in some ways and brought them kind of to close to their goals. So, just bringing those forward. So, as always, let's get down to the thank yous. So, thank you to Tabletop Audio for the sound performance service that they provide and that they update on a regular basis. It is a free site where you can utilize many different ambient backgrounds and interactive sounds to use with your D&D games. Sci-fi, horror, fantasy, it doesn't matter. There are sounds for all of it. And with the sound pad, you can take what you want from each section of the sound pad, and you can compile them down into a useful set of sounds for your game. Some of them, for this reason, I choose to do and create the interesting variety of sounds. The most common ones I use, for example, are Dark Forest, Dungeon, and Ye Old Town, because those ones I personally enjoy, and they're probably the best ones out there for a fantasy style. But there is also others out there, such as Wasteland, Age of Sail, Spaceship, Combat in the Future, The True West, The Deep Six, and the two most recent ones, which I am personally quite a bit of a fan of, is the Monster Pack and the Jungle Planet, which I don't think my players will be getting to very soon, but they're out there as potential uses. So, let's get back to all of this. Oh, but to a special thank you to Zenosa for all the art that she has done over the course of these adventures, and I highly recommend her. So go check her out. She'll be in the description below, or you can find her on my Twitch page. And yeah, she'll be able to do a tile or two for you for your D&D campaign or anything similar. The prices are fair, from what I found, and generally the art style I use is nice and simple, just to help bring it along quite nicely. So, let's get into this. Last session, our party of adventurers, Sasha, Queglod, Elsyan, Bhold, and Malcom, had made their way from the city of Adamanthia using griffins, gifted to them by the Baroness in aid of their quest. Upon arriving at the small lumber camp town of Oaksmith, the party found themselves in a simple inn, where they had decided to stay for a while and acquire a companion known as Kimia. She was Slitharian born and a member of some tribe of lizard folk to the west under the Skycalm mountain range. She was ready to lead them into the forest at their own leisure. However, they went to visit an old copper dragonborn mage known as Suhaba, who they had previously been instructed to visit by Gen, the Undertavern keeper. After a short conversation and many new and interesting ideas thought up by Suhaba to deal with the local riffraff, the party left left him to his devices and went to meet Kimiar at the edge of the woods. Shortly after this meeting they departed, making their way towards Fort Verdant, in hopes of finding their arsonist there, and bringing him or her to justice and to clear their own names. After an attempted rest, the party was attacked by some giant spiders and spiderlings, which snuck up on them during someone else's watch, before getting the rest of their sleep and making themselves ready to move forward for the rest of their journey. And so we begin with the party making their way a little to the west and slightly north in search of the Fort Verdant. After about 2 hours of travelling, they came across what looked to be a series of ruined buildings, one of which looked to be the remains of a barracks and a tower, within a large cleared out area. Within these ruins were 2 giant spiders, one of which was resting and the other laying its web around the area, creating some form of shelter. Noticing that the web was connected back to the forest, the party thought it best not to try set the web on fire, just in case things got out of hand. After a lack of cohesion about the plans to take out these 2 spiders, Bhold, with Queglod on his shoulder, charged into the ruins and struck at one of the spiders with a ferocious strike. However, what the party had not been expecting was more company on the spider's part. A series of gangly spider-like humanoid hybrids jumped from one of the ruins and proceeded to strike at Bhold. The attack, unexpected, Bhold found himself surrounded and in mortal danger as the strikes were quick and fast, which he could not fend off so easily. Queglod hopped down and ran as best she could, before she and Bhold both fell to the strikes from the spiders and the new arrivals. They were not killed, but they were dragged away to be hung up and eaten for a later meal. The party acted quickly, striking out and thinning the numbers of these creatures before Sasha, the dwarven cleric, made a bold decision. She lit the web on fire. The fire spread faster than she had originally intended, and erupted into a roaring blaze that engulfed the spiders and their accompanying monstrosities. But in the process, she had set the forest on fire. With the wails of burning trees there was a sudden strike of heavy rain. The party found themselves blinded by it, unable to do anything, and the thunder roared overhead. Sasha was shot, and as the arrow streaked past and struck the ground below her, as she attempted to move closer to the spiders, there was a voice. A clear, melodic voice rang out in the heads of Elsyan and Queglod, saying what they had done was selfish and misguided, and she cannot allow them to take the corpses of these creatures as their own. The rain stopped, and in that instant a lady female form, wrapped in a leaf cloak, mask and hood, stood before them as she readied her bow. They were to leave the creatures alone, or they would have the whole forest brought down upon them. After leaving the creatures alone and saying their piece, they investigated the ruins. The party found themselves a trapdoor and proceeded to go underground, surrounded by walls of glyphed and runed stone, and a door that read, "Your word is your valor is your halo is your equal. I am equal in all things, but my word leads and my equal follows, and my name is one of a kind." After many failed attempts at discovering what the answer was, they investigated another one of the rooms, before a flash of light and the shattering of glass, and a large fire elemental stood before them. And that is all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to check out the stream and the next episode for the final fight, which will be up and accompanying this one, followed by episode 9, which will again be another short narration. So, hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye bye.